Okay, hang on.
I'm seeing live.
Hi, guys. It's me, Mom23RN, aka Sonia. I'm on my kind of iffy Wi Fi, so bear with me. We're going to keep this short and sweet. And just, our prayers, our thoughts all day have been with Damar Hamlin, his family, teammates, everybody. So we felt that it would be best just to kind of let's just get after it and talk about this. We're going to abbreviate it a little bit just because, we've all said and thought a bunch of things. So tonight we're just going to kind of let it flow for about 15, 20 minutes or so and just kind of get our thoughts and feels out. You guys are more than welcome to comment and we will try and get to you guys as much as possible. But yeah, and tonight we're joined by Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, how are you? Very somber
I'm
night.
good. It's a somber night. It's a somber night. And of course, as always, one of our besties, Michelle, the sports jinx. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm,
Hmm. And real quick, thank you, donkeys, as always,
thank
for
you,
sponsoring
donkeys.
us. We appreciate it. So, this kind of comes into where were you when? So, what was going
Right.
on when this happened? I had just got off work. I was chatting with my parents because that's just sometimes what
Hmm.
I do. And
Hmm.
I saw some texts going. I flipped on the game, and I saw somebody was down, but that was it. And the volume was down. I was talking to my mom, and I thought I heard CPR. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, let me call you back, right, mom? And so then I look at our texts that were going on in our group text. And, I saw what was going on, saw the players' faces, and I saw the hit. And I was like, oh my God. My man, he collapsed. I instantly thought of Hank Gathers. You guys remember Hank Gathers? And yeah,
Mm.
so
Mm.
found out about what was going
Well, with me, I
What
was
about
I was
you?
doing pretty
What
much
about you
this.
guys? Where were you? What was
I
going on?
was I was pretty much doing the same. But I was watching the game, listening, and I was actually going through scenarios, playoff scenarios and stuff, and wondering like if the Bills won this game, if that, I was doing the normal football thing. I was, gathering thoughts. I was
Hmm.
reading social media. I was watching them because being in the AFC East, I get these guys twice a year. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm watching because, with us and what's been happening. And then I saw it and I kind of looked up and the same thing. I've been around football for almost 30 years. I've been covering football for 15 of it now. So I just looked up to see what was going on. And then I saw the replay and I'm like, oh my gosh. What got me was I didn't even kind of hear anything about a couple minutes into it because you always think concussion, when knocked out, the normal things, right? I mean, it's like, but what got me was the players' faces. And all of a sudden, it
Hmm.
just had a different feel about it. The whole projection of my emotions just turned because at that point, I'm like, we went to commercial and I was just like, I'm same way. I'm on Twitter. I'm like, what's going on? Because people in the stands are texting. And so I was kind of following a couple people that were at the game and they're just like, oh my gosh, you know, and one of the guys was like, it looks like they're doing CPR. It looks, and then that's when they came back. I saw Josh Allen's face and my heart sunk
Yes.
because he looked
Yes.
distraught. And I'm like, something bad just happened. I mean, I immediately felt it. I saw, then they started showing. I have never experienced that type of emotion. And I've been in a stadium where they've carried guys off in stretchers and it's the thumbs up from them even being strapped down. You can see the guys,
Hmm.
okay, they're usually conscious, and that's always the sign. And it's like, okay, we're concerned, our prayers are up and make sure this guy's okay, but yet he was conscious and everything is he's leaving the fields and then gives a thumbs up. It makes you feel okay, okay, yeah, something's going on that will be this just had an entire different feel for me. um, and so I was just same as you guys. listening at that point to the CPR, and then immediately, being around so many people that are medically in the field. And everybody's going to speculate. I think speculation is just part of human nature, is it not? I mean, even when, you see something happen, well, gosh, I think, I've seen that before. That could be this. But when you saw it collapse like that, you knew something was bad. And then you saw the faces. And I mean, like I said, understandably, Michelle and I were just talking about it, and it was just routine, right? Michelle, I mean, you were at a sports bar. You're just, nonchalantly doing this. And then all of a sudden, Michelle, what's going on? You've been around football. You've got a phone. What's going on? I mean, what was the feel at the bar after things started to unfold?
So I watch, as you guys know, I watch football mostly at sports bars on Sunday. I don't typically go on Monday night. But the Buffalo Bills fans who I hang around at the sports bar talked me into coming to Monday night. So we were there. The game was going. We had a couple of people jabbing at each other, Bengals and thing. And then we saw the play. But we're talking. So we saw the play and then we looked away from the play. And then we looked back and we was like, oh, somebody's injured. We realized they had been there for a while. I'm like, somebody's injured. And so, again, we're still talking. And then, like you say, I saw Diggs crying. But for me, it was Xavier Rhodes. I mean, this guy, 27, I looked at him and I'm like, wait, something is going on. I'm like, why is this taking so long? Then I saw the ambulance. It was like so much going on, but we missed the play. None of us had seen the play. We just knew somebody was hurt, and we knew somebody was hurt because they stopped the game. But it was because it was taking so long. That's what alarmed me. Like, this is taking quite a bit of time. So of course I went to Twitter. So I opened up Twitter, and then I started seeing CPR. I started seeing all stuff. So I'm just shouting it out, and in the bar we're arguing with the manager because the sound is not up. The sound, we can't hear them. So we can't hear what they're saying.
Right.
So it took a while for the manager to come and turn the TVs up so we can hear. And then by then I pulled up, someone posted the video. And so I found the video of what actually happened. And I'm like, oh my God. So everybody's gathering around my cell phone, around the tables. All of the people start coming. We're looking at it. And it was just like, the mood just went. Now everybody's like, they can't be playing the game. People started praying. Everybody started praying. It was like, they got to stop the game. But we just kept watching. And even, they kept going to studio. And my hat went off to the studio team because, man, I said that would be very difficult. You can tell they didn't even want to talk. They didn't want to have that conversation. They didn't want to talk. They just wanted to watch the reactions. And at some point you saw them go back. They went to commercial. They came back. And that's all you really needed. You didn't really need to say anything. You just needed to see the players' faces. I saw Xavier Rhodes with his head into another guy's. I saw Josh Allen's face. I saw Diggs crying, number 33. I mean, I saw the coaches. It was just so somber. And at some point, I mean, this one guy that comes to the bar is a huge Buffalo Bills fan. I mean, he goes to the games. He's in Buffalo all the time. They even have him on one of the commercials. And he just came over. He said, ladies, I'm just going, I just can't. I just have to go. He said, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. He was so deflated. And this is a guy who dances. He plays all songs from the stadium. He has them on his phone. He brings so much energy, and he was totally deflated. And that's pretty much how everybody was the whole night. And we end up leaving. Once we, saw them, we can tell they made the announcement because the fans started moving. And that was one of the things I noticed, that the fans were still sitting there. Like they did not move. They sat there, full stadium. Everybody just sat there.
Now, Michelle, explain to me what's going on at the bar at this moment. Let's talk about the magnitude of this. Is everybody at this time, when you got the manager's attention, you have the sound turned up, is everybody in the bar quiet at this point watching this?
Everybody's quiet. People who there was a couple, like some people wasn't even watching the game. They wasn't even paying attention at all. And everybody stopped. Everybody was just looking at the TV. There was no sound. It was a drunk table behind me. And the guys end up leaving. They end up taking their friend home. They came and apologized for him, but they took him and just left because he was the only one talking. But everybody was quiet. Everybody was just praying. Everybody was praying. They just didn't know what to say. The only thing we wanted to hear was what was going on, what was happening, and everybody was like, "There's no way that they're going to finish the game."
Right.
And of course, I'm saying because I'm thinking, I am thinking about two things. Yes, this is like the worst scenario, and although they can't play this game today, when are they going to play this game? Because it's so much going on. I mean, and that goes to what Skips was saying. Even though I don't think he worded it properly, I don't think he was really saying they needed to play the game. I think he was trying to say that because of what happened, the game is not irrelevant. The scenario is not irrelevant anymore. It just didn't come out right. And so folks were like, "Are they gonna?" I'm like, those players are not gonna be able to play. I mean, not today. Wow. I mean, I said, my thing was, they was like, "Well, when can I?" say, "Well, here's the thing. What if he doesn't make it? What if something happens? They still not gonna want to play." So I mean, it's a whole. I was like, that's going to be the furthest thing from their mind. Unfortunately, this is a business, and they have these playoffs, and it's got to continue for everybody else. But what is going to happen with them? And there's so many scenarios with that particular game. I don't know what they can do. I mean, I have no idea what they can do because they're not playing this week. They can't play it next week, and they can't play it the week the playoffs start.
Yes, it's
and
eerie.
I don't think they even want to think about it right now.
Right. It's eerie because when you think of the magnitude of this, and it brings me back to NASCAR when Dale Earnhardt died. Mm-hmm. It was like the whole world was just at a standstill for 24 hours because it was like shock. It was, where do we go from there? People just, and I still today tell you that's the day NASCAR died to me. Because it, to me, has never been the same. It really hasn't. And when you see these two teams again, it's going to be there. For me, I get to see Buffalo twice, and it hits home. I mean, they have their rivals on the field. But, I have so many Buffalo Bill fans that I absolutely adore and love. And, I'm heartbroken. I'm just like, it just kills me.
Yeah.
But, so emotional.
It was very emotional. I couldn't sleep. I had a hard time sleeping. Emotional. And the first thing I did when I woke up this morning is open the phone and put in his name to see. I just wanted to make sure before I went to work, before I did anything, I'm like, that was the first thing I did.
I think we all did.
Yep. And I mean, I would say it's been super emotional, but the response and everybody, like literally everybody, has been pouring out love to the family. And that has been like, I'm kind of cheesy about certain things. And, when USA is playing in anything, I love watching my timeline because everybody's like, yeah, USA. But this was different and this was beautiful. And just watching literally everybody on the timeline, just, coming together, praying for the family, praying for, watching the stadium. I just saw a clip of, some of the fans just saying the Lord's Prayer in the stadium. And trust me, I'm not trying to get all extra religious. I'm just saying what I saw. And I thought that was pretty cool. And, I love that unity that we're all having in this moment as a fan base, as NFL. That's
and what about the Bengals fan with the sign that wrote the sign? I've seen a
tweet.
Yeah.
Unity restored.
And let's face it. I mean,
it's things like that, and going to the. Go ahead.
With people that are in, and I'm certainly talking to you, Sonia, at this point, because doing what you do, and in the profession, in the field that you are, I mean, I can only say from a distance, I had seen CPR done on one person, and that was while I was sitting in a car and there was an accident. And I was just unfortunate that I was up there. I wasn't involved, but that was emotional for me. And I didn't even know this person who was getting it, much less have it be a family member, a teammate. So explain, I mean, seeing CPR being done, or it has to be so traumatic on somebody. I couldn't even imagine what those Bills players and the Bengals players at that point. Here's your teammate and you're watching this. I mean, it has to just be so traumatizing. And what's the time frame that you get over that?
Well, I mean, I saw my father.
Sometimes you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw CPR being performed on my father before he passed away. But the one thing you know about that, when someone does CPR, that means the person is gone, and they're trying to bring them back. That's, like they're bringing them back. So that's what they witnessed on the field. And you notice that the ESPN announcements never said those words during the whole announcement. They were trying to, but that's basically what's going on. And so that's what they were watching. And that's why those faces look that way.
And every time they went back to the studio, they were more distraught and more distraught, because you could tell that information was coming in, and they were knowing. So here's these band of people that are getting this phone in their lap, and they're just as emotional as everybody else because they're getting the same thing we are.
Right.
And you have to go live, and you're trying to, maintain, and watching the reporters break down from both teams was just, like I said, I've never been around anything like this in my life. And it's just so surreal at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know how they move forward. And the sad part of this is, I know people don't want to talk about it, but they're going to have to finish the season. They have to. And, that's the thing. And I'm sure they're going to play with a lot of emotion once they do. Whether he survives or don't survive, they're going to play for him. That's one thing we do know. And it's funny because my Buffalo Bills fan, Jay, that's his name, Jay said on Sunday that the Bills were going to the Super Bowl and that they were going to win the Super Bowl this year. And he said, I'm claiming I've already bought my Super Bowl ticket. And so, and you think about, I know one thing, whether they're going or not, I think the country will be behind them. Everybody will be cheering for them once they get back on that field. You have to. Your emotions are just going to go there. It's tough.
That first snap, that first kickoff, I mean, I can't even.
It's going to be everything.
Yep.
Well, guys, I think it's it's going to be tough. And so,
well,
our thoughts, our prayers, again, with Damar's, with Trey, Trey, who made the hit. Just it's not your fault.
T. Higgins.
It literally could have happened at any time. Yeah, T. Higgins could have happened at any time to anybody, and it literally was just that nanosecond.
And
it's, wow, it's just
there was a doctor today that said it was 3 seconds from the time.
But yeah,
3 seconds.
3 seconds. He stood up. He stood and went down. It was a matter of that fast.
Just it just brings it all into a ball, because like I said, we all see the and like I said, the last the last 2 weeks we've been talking about Tua and his health and the concussions, and
and he needs to retire. Yeah,
and it's scary. It still hits home, because it's like, if you're watching that and you're him, that's all it takes, brother. That's all it takes, at any given moment for anybody.
Right.
You're on that field, you're susceptible to concussions, or you've had, we've seen, Sterling Sharp, one hit, the doctor told him, you're going to be paralyzed. He did the smart thing and retired.
Michael
Could have been
Irvin.
one of the best. Yep, Michael, one of the best wide receivers ever. You start getting these injuries, and you hear the fans like, "Oh, what a wuss!" I mean, you can't, a little neck injury. You don't realize it until it happens in front of your face, and then you see the magnitude and the effect that this can have. 32 teams, 32 fields lit up in Buffalo Bill colors right now, and that's awesome to see. The NFL is a community, it's a family. It's a football game, and that's all it is a game. These guys are husbands, brothers. They play this game for our entertainment, and we need to realize that this is what can happen. So I think this will hopefully make some fans a little bit more sensible to some of the things that these guys go through, as far as with injuries and stuff like that, and hopefully this will make the NFL realize that this is what these guys livelihood is. So he's 24 years old, and he's fighting for his life in a hospital right now. 24 hours ago he was on a football field living his dream. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
It's so somber. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Please feel free to follow us along on our turf, on our Twitter. We'll keep you updated as best we can.
Yes.
And just, get your thoughts, and we're open to talking. So thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next week. We can have a little bit more to talk about and a little bit more better mood. But until then, continue prayers for Damar. Yes, loves to Bills Mafia. Y'all be good out there. Bye.